for the championship. So difficult. As we look at the lineup, for moto number 2, of course, Wilson Todd, who won the first one, is there, as well as Kyle Webster. Aaron Tanti looking to close out that championship. Kyle Webster and a few of the other riders. There's a lot of Tantis and Websters in that lineup, but we have plenty more riders than that. Of course, Ferris is looking to try and upset the championship, but it's going to take quite an effort here to make sure he gets that win, and Tanti finishes in the right spot.
Trying to upset the apple cart, shall we say, and there's quite a few riders that can get in the mix and mess up points here, and a bunch of them are Honda riders. The winner of Moto 1 in the MX1 class, Wilson Todd, and it all started from a spectacular jump out of the gate. Will we see a slightly faster and in-form Kyle Webster this time around? That's yet to be seen. And what is going to happen with our key players, the ones still battling for the championship? How will Aaron Tanti perform under pressure? And does Dean Ferris have what it takes to have his final race of his career a victory?
So the track now is probably, if you can say it, less forgiving, as if the first race was forgiving it all. There is so much emphasis on riding smooth, clean, and comfortable out there. The moment you tighten up, you are really going to struggle to close this race out. Can Ferris do it? Well, it's going to be a big effort, but mathematically there is still a chance. Tanti would have to finish maybe around that 13th area and Ferris win to get that championship. We've seen stranger things happen though.
Well, there's two parts to it. There's rhythm and there's fitness. If you find your rhythm, beautiful. If you get out of your rhythm, make a couple of mistakes, you need so much fitness to get back into that rhythm again. Well, we're in the starter's hands. Thor, MX1, Moto number 2. Watch for the drop of the gate.
Go time. Who's going to launch out another Honda?
Kyle Webster.
And also Wilson Todd up the inside. 2 Hondas doing their part. Ferris is deep in the pack, all the way back there, I would guess at around about 13th place. So where is Tanti?
Very similar to Moto 1. Tanti finds himself back in 4th or 5th place. But Wilson Todd and a couple of Hondas up at the head of the pack. Their starts have been on point here at Coolum.
If you're Tanti and you know that you've got Ferris behind you, you would have to have a lot of weight taken off the shoulders at the moment, knowing that he has that small amount of room to move and get comfortable, as we see Wilson Todd in the lead. But what a charge it is by Webster. Can he make that pass up the inside?
Well, we called it before, the simple racetrack speed that we see from Kyle Webster on a track like this. Does Wilson Todd have what it takes to stay with Kyle Webster if he does come past?
That was so smooth by Webster as we look at the 100% whole shot award. Oh, Webster, massive jump into there. That whole shot award, of course, going to Wilson Todd. He went a little off track on that one, but what a launch into that corner from Webster. I think it even surprised him just a little.
Well, Kyle Webster has been waiting for almost 6 months to be able to show us this kind of speed. This must feel good for the Western Australian.
Great to see the track crew have cleaned up a couple of those up ramps in between these motos, done for safety, purely for safety.
Have a look at that line. No one else has found that. Far around the outside and then cut all the way back to the right-hand side of that straight.
I don't think anyone's found it because he just created it. What a beautiful move that was. And that's a smart sand ride, being able to look around, create new stuff and make it work for them. As we watch them complete their first lap, we'll go down the order. Webster, Todd, Waters. So Todd is in 3rd and Waters in 4th. Gibbs, Ferris, Tanti, Metcalf and Cooper. That is the top 8 riders as they complete their first lap.
Well, this will be nerve-wracking time for Craig Dack and the CDO Yamaha Monster Energy team, but they would know the position that Tanti's in at the moment. 6th place he is, as we just saw, was looking at the screen on the left-hand side at the timing, and we saw a massive mistake from Wilson Todd. Through comes Tanti, here he is. He would know that he just needs to try to pick up Ferris. Ferris is outside of the top 10. He has had some kind of catastrophe out there on the track.
Bad start, but sitting back that fast.
He was ahead of Tanti briefly.
Well.
So he is dropping. Something has happened to him because only half a lap ago he was ahead of Aaron Tanti. So he's either had a bike problem or he has gone down hard.
Well, we hope everything is all right for Ferris for his final hit out here at Coolum, as we see on screen. Championship leader Aaron Tanti doing everything right. Of course, this class proudly brought to you by Thor. And it's got to feel good for Tanti knowing that he's sitting in this position at the moment. He did have that points gap over everyone else. Into this right-hand turn, the Penrite right-hand turn. Just keeping it nice and smooth. You can see Gibbs there still up in front of him, but he is certainly having to work hard for that position, even all the way back there.
He's looking a little bit more comfortable this race, I'm going to say, Aaron Tanti.
Right there.
Yeah, just there's been a couple of parts around the track where we're seeing the usual Aaron Tanti. He's popping off things and showing a bit of finesse while still using that brute strength in his legs that we expect to see from him.
So we're holding here by looks of Ferris. It looks like he might be just about to cross over the line in the red, possibly. Yes, there he is there. So he's back to 12th and now into 11th, I think. So he is moving forwards. So yeah, certainly a moment there that was caught off, wasn't caught, I should say. It was off screen. Continuing to go around, which is good to hear. The last thing we needed to see was that going out that way. So continuing this race and moving forwards. But I think he just wants to have a good solid ride now to close out that career. Waters is out, meeting business at the moment, in the lead and starting to stretch it out. 4.1 seconds over Webster in second place with 10 minutes to go in this Thor. MX1 Moto number 2.
Well, such a fantastic job for Todd Waters. We've mentioned a few times throughout the series, he's doing double duties, doing not only motocross, but also off-road. He's about to represent us overseas very soon. He was sporting the green and gold gear earlier on in the day, looking very colourful out there. But I think he's really loosened up personality-wise, come out of his shell a little bit since he's taken on this double role. He's got his own riding gear brand out there. It's all happening for him.
There he is, our race leader, 3.8 seconds. So the guys have clawed back just a little bit over that last lap as Waters dropped into the 155 time bracket. It was just a small mistake, or if it was a lapped rider. Either way, Webster has taken a chunk out of that lead that he had just moments ago. Yellow flag's waving. So the guys have to observe that slowdown and look for that fallen rider.
Well, something that we haven't touched on too much in this particular moto, we're seeing how strong Todd Waters is going, is the battle between Waters and Metcalf. Now,
Ferris,
unfortunately, the red mist in the goggles for Ferris has got him in this one. He's had 2 mishaps and he will not lay down. He will still continue to battle right the way till the checkered flag comes out. He only knows one way, and that is like a bull at a gate, and he will charge all the way to the finish.
Now, I tell you what, if Waters takes it too easy at the moment, he is going to have some Hondas right on the back wheel. As you can see them right there on top of the screen, these boys have taken a huge chunk out of that lead in this last lap alone. It almost looks like Waters has slowed down.
Well, who knows, even the fittest of the men out there are not immune to the roughness of Coolum. So, look, I find it hard to believe that he is feeling super fatigued here. He's still got 8 minutes to go. If he's hit a wall, it's going to be a long 8 minutes plus a lap, let me tell you. But what a great job for these 2 Honda riders in a freight train coming through. Kyle Webster and Wilson Todd looking a lot smoother than he was in qualifying, thank God.
We'll have a look at these lap times as they come across the finish line here. Will give us some idea whether the boys on the red bikes have sped up or if Todd Waters has indeed slowed down. Now the boys on the red bikes have sped it back up. 52 that last lap around. And Waters being caught sleeping a little bit here. And eventually he doesn't realise that he's got Webster looking to go around the outside of him right now. Certainly in the next couple of corners he's going to realise that he has company coming around towards the end of this moto.
Well, it's this mid part of the track here. This is where I went for a walk before, Danny, to show everyone how deep these whoops are. And I tell you, it is crazy out there. The camera just does not show the depth as Kyle Webster throws it up the inside. but a little bit deceptive. It looked like he may have came out a little closer than that, but not the case.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought he was right there and almost looking to make a pass. But Waters does need to pick up the pace if he is going to maintain this position. And remember, if he falls back one, then he won't get the overall. It's going to come down to this one, this last 7 minutes, as to who gets the overall on the day.
Yeah, it really does look as if Todd Waters has toned down that intensity ever so slightly, which is not the case for Kyle Webster. And I think while he may be lacking in bike fitness a little bit, that brute physical fitness that Kyle Webster has is undeniable. And we're getting into this part of the race now, 6 minutes plus a lap. This is where you're hurting. Your heart rate is elevated. You've got lactic acid going through your veins so thick that you just feel like you can't continue anymore. And you know when all of a sudden, not only your muscles start to get a lack of oxygen, but your brain starts to get a bit of a lack of oxygen, that's when you start to see the mistakes on the track. And you quite often see the crashes happen.
Well, we'll look at the times yet again, see if Waters has answered. He has a bit. They've gone to a 53.2. So Waters has seen that the boys are right there. Now, could he have, this is probably a bit far-fetched, but could he have done a couple of laps, just taken some massive breathers, going, righto, I need a quick rest, and then I'm going to go again. And if I can go again and maybe break them, I mean, that's a tough way of doing it. But maybe he needed to just catch his breath for a couple of laps.
Well, I'll tell you what, Danny, over the years, I've ridden some brutal sand tracks that back in the day we had 30 minutes plus 2 laps, as you would remember. And there's multiple times that you have arguments with yourself in your own helmet, just like, can I keep going? Yes, I can. Keep pushing hard, and you're battling with your own will. And it happens about the 10-minute mark, and then again at 15, and then again near the end of the race. And you just have to keep cracking the whip on yourself and just remind yourself there's plenty of time to relax once the checkered flag comes out.
And Webster, that's it. 3 minutes to go. He said, righto, it's time to go. And Waters.
Wilson Todd.
Yep. Got held up just a little bit there with the laps right, and that's allowed Wilson Todd to really mount a charge here. Can he hold it on around the outside? Oh, he's gone down.
Yes, it was, that was drifting wide from Todd Waters, protecting that line, and nowhere to go for Wilson Todd. He had to jump on the brakes in a part of the track that would have dropped that front wheel off the side. Yeah,
so unfortunate for Wilson Todd. As long as he gets up in front of Gibbs, 26 seconds gap, I'm sure that he should be pretty good. As we take another look at this, just watch the lines come together here with Waters from the inside. He knows he's on the outside, drifts wide to protect his line. And yeah, just nowhere to go for Wilson Todd. That's the risk you take when you put yourself on the outside of another rider.
Yeah, and it's that split decision that you make, that split-second decision. Do I jump on the brakes and try to stay on the track? Or, you know, it would have been a much better choice for Wilson Todd is to exit stage left, straight off. And then, yeah, you would have lost the position. You would have lost, you know, 2 or 3, maybe even 4 seconds. You enter back on the track and you don't go down with the crash. So I don't think, look, I think if Wilson Todd was in the championship battle, he may have elected to take that safe route, but I think he had more things on his mind, and he was trying to get up there and perhaps battle with his teammate Kyle Webster.
So Webster the last time around a 1:51, very fast time, and that's why we see the gap that we do at the moment over the rest of the field. It says 2.4 seconds, but I feel it's possibly bigger than that at the moment.
Yeah, we'll get a little bit more of an idea as Webster tips it into the right-hander here. Great to see from that drone shot. We can almost see in a second as Todd Waters makes his way back into the screen. Yep. Roughly about that gap, it's still lost, definitely lost touch enough to the point of where, you know, when you're close enough and you can almost feel like you've thrown a hook on and you're getting dragged along at a pace that's possibly a little bit higher than you anticipate or that you would like, but it's like a suction. It can drag you along faster than you normally would be able to go. And I think Todd Waters has lost that drag from Kyle Webster. He still looks, he's got that beautiful intensity, that body position. He looks like he's charging exceptionally hard.
With 1 minute to go on the clock, he probably has 2 to go as they're heading towards the final straights before the finish line. So 2 more laps to close this one out. And what a confidence boost this will be for Kyle Webster on the return. It wasn't a great round at QMP for him. He knew it was going to be a challenge for him to go out there and get some great results. He was just stoked to be back on the bike and at the track. But to come out and do this again in this moto, wow, what a way to close out the series and rebound from that nasty injury that he had early on in the year.
Well, I got a funny feeling that Moto 1, we didn't quite see the best of him. I think he was doing the team thing, sitting behind Ferris, giving his teammate, who's done such a fantastic job throughout this whole series campaign, the best opportunity possible to try to take the overall championship. Moto 2, it's out of his hands. Kyle Webster has dropped the hammer and showed us how to ride in the sand. A little bit of a, shall we say, slow down through the mid part of the race where Todd Waters really found his feet. But in these latter stages here, it's been all about Kyle Webster.
As we mentioned before, a bit of a quiet race for this man, the number 5 factory KTM, Kirk Gibbs, who sits quite a long way back, unable to jump the double that time around, elected for the safe option there rather than jumping in behind one of the lapped riders and risking himself that chance, I should say, of hitting another ride in the air. It's the last thing you do need. One of the scariest things when you're in the air on a bike, having a chance of colliding with someone else. It's very, very scary. So the safe way around there. And it's another solid ride. We've seen a good performance out of him over these last couple of rounds. 4th in this one. It's set him up for a 4th, I think, overall on the day, or 5th by the looks of it as they run at the moment. So a great way to close out this championship. Had a lot of bad luck as well. Some tough rides as well.
Not a bad ride from Dean Ferris, however. He's gone from the back of the pack to the front, from the back, and then climbed his way up to 5th place. So he finds himself one position now ahead of Aaron Tanti, who has just made his way past Brett Metcalf. We've had a couple of issues in the last little section from Kirk Gibbs. He's made a few mistakes. Time to settle it down and bring it home to the checkered flag.
It's almost like they've been given their pit board that says 2 laps, and the boys have just gone, thank God, just 2 more laps. And
breathe down. Just gone. You can get back, have a drink, relax, get this gear off, get these boots off, and not have to deal with these monumental bumps that we keep tackling all the time. Well, MX1, Moto 2, last lap, thanks to Thor. Kyle Webster on the Honda HRC machine. He has a 4.3 second lead over Todd Waters, a further 15 seconds back to Wilson Todd Danihan.
Great way to close out this championship as they go into Max's turn for the final time in this championship. Thor MX1. And Webster stamping his authority on sand once again. We saw it at the opening motos just how good he was, or how fast he was. And once again, we are seeing it again, a masterclass on how to ride sand on these big, powerful 450 machines.
Looking spectacularly smooth out there, considering we are this deep into the 25-minute plus 1 lap moto here. Honda 450 tracking extremely straight. He will be so happy with this. What a welcome return to the #1 spot on the podium.
Makes his way through the left hand, a quick glance over the shoulder just to see who potentially could be right there with him as he works his final straight here and heads towards the checkered flag. The relief must be huge for him as he has finally got himself back on the bike after a huge injury and then back into it. What a way to close out the day for the 96. A great return, only his 2nd race back, and he's super pumped with that result. Todd Waters, a big ride there for 2nd place in this one. And if Wilson Todd comes across the line in 3rd place, he will get the overall in this one. Only 2 points separating 1st through 3rd for the overall on the day.
What a fantastic job from these riders. Kyle Webster, great victory for him in the moto. But the guy we need to pick up, we need to follow through. Craig Dack, you don't have to bite your fingernails anymore, although I'm sure you're past that. Aaron Tanti, the CDR Yamaha Monster Energy rider, is not too far off from making his way towards this very final part of the lap. and he will receive the checkered flag. Danny Ham, he has done such an amazing job. Here he is, makes his way into the Pirelli left-hand turn. Let's follow him through as he comes up and over the tabletop.
Yeah, great effort by him. He knew exactly what he needed to do in this race. He has not put a foot wrong all day long. He had a healthy lead heading into this one, just working his way towards the finish line. Congratulations, mate. What an effort.
Well, the man of the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we are witnessing the changing of the guard. Out with the old and in with the new. Your Thor MX1 champion for 2022. CDR Yamaha Monster Energy rider, Aaron Tanti. Welcome to the big stage. We'll keep that red background, Danny Ham. What a worthy champion for the 2022 season.
He certainly had to step it up after we were at Mackay and his teammate went out, and he has answered the call every single time. We didn't doubt it, but we certainly saw glimpses of a lot of pressure being put to him early on in those races in the championship, and he rebounded and he answered the call, and he has been solid ever since.
Proud. Well, what a nerve-wracking race that must have been for the whole CDR Yamaha Monster Energy team. From the drop of the gate, 25 minutes plus a lap till the checkered flag come out. There he is there with his mechanic, Ali Kent. Got the pit board with the number 1 on there. He's got the word from Brad McAlpine. Time to get into the podium. Receiving a congratulations from his good friend there, Nathan Crawford.
They're just waiting final position to come in there. High five by Todd Waters. Great to see the camaraderie between these teams and riders. He's still unable to get through there.
Aaron Tanti, so much emotion. Congratulations. You are the 2022 Pro-Am MX1 champion. How does that sound?
It sounds amazing. You know, you dream of these things when you're a kid. I've never won a championship in my life. Like, I never won a junior Aussie, MX2 or nothing. So to come up and, win an MX1 championship, it means a lot. But yeah, I couldn't have done it without everyone supporting me. I've got my family here, my team, you know, my beautiful girlfriend. It's her birthday today, so happy birthday to her. And good job to all the rest of the boys this year. It was awesome.
You've had the weight of Australia's most successful motocross team on your shoulders, CDR Yamaha Monster Energy. How you dealt with that pressure and how we watched you grow this year was just amazing.
Yeah, I had a pretty stellar year. You know, there wasn't many races I was out of the top 3. You know, I got 6 out of the 8 podiums, and yeah, consistency paid off, and I got myself here. So I'm super pumped. I was speechless.
You worked very hard to get here, so congratulations.
Thank you.
The crowd is going absolutely wild. What a beautiful moment. You enjoyed it.
Thank you.
See you next year. And not to take away from a very hard-fought P1, Kyle Webster on the HRC. Well done. Welcome back to the podium. You've worked very hard to get here.
Yeah, very. It's a very good way to finish off the year, considering how my year went, and I couldn't be happy with that ride, honestly. I'm just stoked. I'm so happy to finish off this way, and big thanks to the team and everyone who stuck by me this year, and I can't wait to get after it next year now. And also a big congratulations to Aaron and the CDR team and Dean and everyone else who fought hard this year. Everyone was on one.
Good one, Carl. See you next year.
Thank you.
Great story looming here for the final showdown of the Ryco 24/7 V8 Utes. Bit of wind power here in Manawatu, nothing wrong with that. Now it's all about V8 Ute power. And Jake Stoneman picked up a win in the last race. Stu Monteith has jumped onto a plane to race up to a concert for Elton John. So it means his dad, 69-year-old Kirk Stoneman's going to be in the number 90 car. And there he is there. And it's been 14 years since they actually... Basically, Kirk was in the car, and goes back to the days of when they had a V8 Ute Trans-Tasman battle between New Zealand and Australia here at Manfield. For 69-year-old Kirk Stoneman, who's been racing in the Sanyong Utes, and number 1, 46-year-old Jake Stoneman, his son, that builds a lot of these Utes, picked up that win in the last race. And They raced 20 years ago against each other in HQ Holdens. And they reckon the scores one each way. So here's the grid. Jake Stoneman, Paul Manuel. It's all about the points table from rounds 1 and 2. Peter Ward, Glenn Collinson, Jeff Spencer, Simon Usher, Andrew Porter, Brett Main. Then Liam Porter, David Lowe, Roger Nees, Paul Fagier, Greg Cruyff, and in the number 90 car, that's not Stu Monteith, that's going to be Kirk Stoneman. So Jake at the front, Kirk at the back, father and son combo to finish the racing as we get set to wrap up. 3 great rounds and 3 great races this weekend in the Ryco 24/7 V8 Utes. We'll also update the points battle for you as well, and some of the stories been building up behind the scenes here in the fun, in the sun. 10 laps, the final showdown before the New Zealand Grand Prix, and we'll leave it to the tradies. Good start by Jake, even better start by Paul Manuel. The man who's been racing for points to maintain his lead in the series as they charge down towards turn 1. Bit of contact in the previous race. Some of the Utes got beat up. Collins makes a really good start, gets right behind the FG Falcon, and all those FGs gagging up on the holdings, and also around the outside for Gier. So Manuel, big sideways movement. Jeff Spence and Andrew Porter. Man, Porter was just saying in the preview they keep going.
The pirouette and they're off.
Come in, spinner. Well, Moose was saying that in the last race they got a bit too close. Oh no, the core steel buildings 22 of Jeff Spencer looks a bit wobbly, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, that's definitely broken something in the rear, probably one of the shocks. 3
into turn 2, doesn't go, and Jeff just gets in behind. A little sideways tap of Andrew Porter, who won the first race, and it's just been a dog's breakfast ever since.
Yeah, look, Andrew was just the innocent party there. I think Jeff actually didn't give him any room at all. Just caught the rear of the car. Andrew actually won't be happy with that. I think he'd be a bit frustrated with Jeff over that one.
Oh, well, they said the other cars just got a bit too close, and now Jeffy's just brought this out for the weekend. All the family were there, and now they're going to have to bring the core steels building back into pit lane, I think. 82, David Lowe, one of the Ryco racers in the field. Here they go down towards the main part of the track, turn 1, Statement 1. 15 Super Freight car with Paul Manuel just going a bit wide.
That was a fantastic pass, though. That's just pure experience on Paul there to pass Glenn Collinson like that.
Just smooth. Well, he said after got off to a really good qualifying with himself and Andrew Porter, and then good result in race 1. He just got beat up by all the Fords. And Andrew Porter just coming into the pits. Unfortunate for him. So, bit of drama there, and old Glenn Collinson, he's currently 2nd in the points, but the man who can win the weekend is going to be Jake Stoneman. 66 points. There's the damage. Moose and the guys having a look with Andrew Porter's car, and after a great win, 3rd winner of the series, bang, he's been monstered, and now Jake Stoneman became the 4th winner of the series. Here he is out in front leading the field, really enjoying his racing. And then the other injured dude's going to come back in along pit lane 2 with Jeff Spencer, number 22 in that core steel buildings car. So bad luck for Jeff. He has sent out the SOS.
Doesn't it?
Well, I wonder if...
yeah, I'm not quite sure what that was about.
He's a bit angry. Now Moose is... it's a bit...
yeah, we don't like to see that in motorsport. I'm not sure whether that was just a bit of an incident.
He's got brake issues. No problems with the man in the tyre works. Ford Falcon, the big FG of Jake Stoneman. Really enjoying getting back in racing. But Paul Manuel, he was laughing. He said they had beat up in race 1. They've had brake issues. They've had arm issues. They've had nothing but issues since a good qualifying series. But he said, I was just driving for points in that 2nd race. Limit the damage. Keep the points lead. And that's exactly what he's done. 250 overall to 230 to Glenn Collinson and 17 back.
Yeah, well, that's smart racing, isn't it? It's about finishing every race. I mean, it's the finishing every race and collecting your points is what wins a championship.
He's certainly doing that at the moment, doing a great job, Jake Stoneman, but also Paul Manuel, and then the man who's currently second in the series right behind him, number 17, Glenn Collinson. He's had a few issues over the weekend. Simon Usher in the United Movers one, going past 84, Brett Main. He stayed out of trouble in the reverse grid and really enjoyed his racing.
Isn't it great to see Jake Stoneman, you know, doing it like this? You're the guy who engineers the car, jumps in, fills in the seat, jumps in and just goes out there and wins.
And then you've got number 90 down the back of the field, all just going a bit wide of the old man Kirk Stoneman. So 23, Greg Cruyff, one of the newbies in the field, really enjoying the chance to go racing, getting into the V8 Utes. Oh, just Paul, he's done that in the previous race and he's done it again, but it's a Utes who go through the kitty litter onto the grass and power it, the rubbish collector, power it back onto the track. So well done, Paul. Got the load right there, slightly wrong with the braking, but hey.
Yeah, well, when you come into turn one, let's have a look at the replay here. Coming into turn one, you can see he's locked up the right front tyre, and of course, once it's locked, it's gone. He was lucky he actually got off the brakes to keep that going through there. Could have ended up being buried.
Yeah, he's done the right thing there. Just put your foot down, son, and keep it going and get out of trouble. Get out of there.
Welcome to V8 Ute racing.
Yes. They've got elephant memory, some of them, they say. Some people never forget. So Jake Stoneman, what's he doing lap-wise? 1:21, the last one. Paul Manuel, the points collector. He's thinking about the championship, of course. This weekend, it's the third round of the Ryco 24/7 V8 Utes. Big decider coming up next month. So he's doing a super job here, isn't he, Paul? Mr. Consistency.
He is, and as you said earlier, right, he's not going to push it that hard. He's just going to want to sit there. If he can't catch Jake, he's going to sit there and he's going to collect his points and keep that lead in the championship.
Well, he's in a Ford sandwich here. He's been squeezed, beaten up by the Fords in the previous race, so he doesn't mind that because he's got clear air here and he can control his own destiny. That's what Paul likes.
And you've got to remember that Jake's actually not in the championship. Although he's winning this race and might win the weekend, he's actually not a contender in the championship. So Paul's playing this very smart.
Yeah, taking a few points away from the other guys, so Paul just has to be exactly what he's doing. Happy with second. Let Jake have his moment of fun in the sun, but he'll be collecting those points and maintaining that lead going into the big final showdown at Hampton Downs. Collinson drifting back though in that other one. But look at the times. 1:20 for Manuel was last time, 1:20.7. Stoneman a 1:21.1 and Glenn Collinson a 1:21.7. So slightly quicker for Manuel. Stoneman's got it under control and just cruising at the moment. Coming off a win, talking about seat time. That's exactly what Andre Heimgartner did in the B&T V8s. He's going to go out of this series and straight into supercars. Paul's come out of TA2, the Trans Am series, winning that in Malaysia with Jalen Robotham, who's doing a great job in the 86s. And here they are, both really in top form in this same series. So nothing like being match fit.
Yeah, as they say, seat time. Seat time does it.
Glenn Collinson doing a good job in that linked up paints car from the team out of Hamilton. Good contender, good racer.
Yeah, he's very much a good racer, Glenn. He takes his racing very seriously. Certainly gets frustrated when somebody does something silly around him, but he's not afraid to give it back either. Don't you worry about that.
Around about 1800 is the weight for these cars. 400 horsepower, 6-speed gearbox, basically a road type sort of gearbox.
Yeah, it's an H box, and from time to time you do select the long gear. So you'll certainly see a ute when it does that. It'll sort of lose its power very quickly.
So after 14 years of racing, it's good that Jake and Kirk can be racing together, father and son, as one of them goes really wide down the back straight. Wardy and Usher, Simon Usher, the United Movers car. So this is their battle now for 4th and 5th. Wardy's had a good weekend doing double duty also in the central muscle cars as well. Going a bit back to his old style of wide and spectacular, sort of.
This is great to see actually, because Simon joined the V8 Utes having done no racing ever before in his life, whereas Wardy's done several years. So Simon's really lifted his game. Both these cars are engineered by Jake Stoneman. So it's good to see Simon pushing Wardy.
Wardy just getting a bit ragged coming out of the hairpin. That's been one of those areas to watch out for, especially for that Grand Prix coming up next, because that entry out of the hairpin onto the straight. Another one happening here. Coming charging down, Brett Main in the 84. And Liam Porter. He's having a better day than his dad again.
A better weekend, I think, but to be fair.
How'd you go, Dad? I'm good, you suck.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be talking about that in the trailer tonight.
Yeah, Booster said our weekend's been in the pits. It's been the pits, unfortunately. Brett Main doing a good job here in the Ryco 24/7 Ute. Young Liam around the outside. Can he live there? Can he stay there? Avoids the contact, keeps it on the track limits. Now he's got that chance to try and do a slingshot down the main straight into turn one at Toyota. Brett's going to hold that inside line and make him work really hard to try and make the pass. Problems in the first race, so Brett Rudd missing in the action. Oh, 23, bring it back under control, straight ahead of turn one again. Is it turn one? Yes, it is.
Greg Cruyff.
Yeah, Greg Cruyff. He's one of the rookies in the series too, so he's learnt the hard way about where you can overcook the braking at turn one.
It's the one thing I've been saying this weekend is turn one. You know, it is a very difficult corner, and the braking points are absolutely crucial. And if you don't hit those braking points, you can see what happens.
Greg Cruyff, he's stuck in the kitty litter there, but there you go, Main, Liam Porter. Looks like Greg Cruyff has got out, which is great, so he can keep rolling, keep racing. 2 laps to go. Brett Main, the bullet, as we take a look. Oh, one of them just getting a bit loose. That's him. Rear just stepped right out.
A little bit too much power through the apex of the corner, and the others let go.
Man out of Bombay, he's got a dredging company, so he managed to dredge himself out of that predicament. Here's Brett Main, holding off Liam. And once again, Liam.
Throw the under.
Yeah, you want to go dive under because she's a bit slippery out wide.
Didn't quite come together as he was planning, but the thought was there.
Yeah, and he's searching away around between 2 and 3 and try and get right up behind. A little bit of dust blowing off as you whip through over those ripples. Dave Lowe right behind him trying to join up with his Ryco teammate. 82, he's doing a good job from Pukekohe. Got the franchise for the Ryco 24/7 around Auckland and Waikato. This is one of the guys that does the job.
Here's a little bit of something for you. He bought my ute.
That's why he's going fast. Jake Stoneman, last lap, crossed the starts finish line. So he's on the way to 2 wins and to win the weekend. The funny thing is, when we said that to Jake, you said when the Matt comes back in, you say, well, there's nothing wrong with the car, mate. I've got it tweaked up working perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no excuse for Matt now.
Matt will turn around and say, oh, you've ruined it for me. You've tired it out.
Oh, look. Here we go.
So the leaders, there's a real battle for the lead here. Suddenly Jake Stoneman, he's out in front of number 1, and then Paul Manuel, the Super Freight Holden's right up behind them. So suddenly it's not all over. A couple of good battles further back down the field as well. So there's Manuel. Will he make a late lunge? Have the tyres gone off in the number 1 Tyre Works car? This is the lead. Stoneman coming out of Higgins. Jake. Jumping Jake Flash in the last race. Paul Manuel gets right behind. He's going to go round the outside at turn 7. A last minute lunge. Can he live there? Can he stay there? Will he get into the marbles? He drinks it right round. Holds it on.
Huge drift around the corner.
He does it, Perkins. And Jake Stoneman's going to go 2 from 2 to win the weekend. Entertaining stuff from Paul Manuel. Will maintain the series lead and extend that in the Ryco 24/7 V8 Utes over Collinson, who comes past to wrap up third place. Good battle here. Further back down the field, Main, Shaggy Lowe, Dave Lowe, and 11, Liam Porter. So Brent Main, number 84, trying to get a good win. Good result for him in the top 6, 7 for Lowe. Really enjoying their racing. Coming across the start-finish line now. Liam Porter, a late lunge. He won't get it done. And so the rest of the cars, bit of damage, bit of DNF. Just Roger Nees coming across the line now, along with the recovery job for the rest of the field. So Jake Stoneman get a great result. He gets the win, wraps up the weekend as the winner. He'll have a smile on his dial. So well done to number 1, Jake Stoneman. Steps in for the defending champion and gets 2 wins in the weekend. Paul Manuel second, extends his lead in the series. Glenn Collinson still up there in the hunt in second in the series and third in the race. Good results too for 94, Simon Usher, Peter Ward all over the place, having a lot of fun. Brett Main, David Lowe, Liam Porter, Roger Nees and Paul Fagier. As always, let's take a look at the highlights in the final showdown of the weekend. Didn't get the best start, Stoneman. 2 or 3 wide, one of them trying to get onto the grass and then coming out of turn 1. That's where it all happened. Stoneman then got that lead, got that control, and suddenly SOS. Jeff Spencer got him to the side of Andrew Porter. They both turned around. Another clip. One of the other cars coming through. And then Paul Manuel, the super brake guy, used that experience and that knowledge. A little bit of clash along pit lane. Didn't quite get the old stopping point. Missed his box. And then straight off the kitty litter, Paul Fagier puts his foot down, gets out of trouble. Simon Usher and Peter Ward had a good battle as well. Brett Bain and Liam Porter had their moments as they attacked turn 7. They would be having a non-stop battle. Then into turn 1, Porter goes slightly wide, brings it back under control, tries to look for the crossover. And then number 23, Greg Cruyff, overcooks the braking at turn 1. Nothing wrong with number 1. He maintained control right throughout, and the last minute lunge, sideways for Manuel. Jake Stoneman gets the win, wraps up the weekend. Manuel takes us to Hampton Downs as the series leader, the man to beat.
Great.
Interesting to get some reaction from the drivers for this race before we get to the New Zealand Grand Prix.
Thanks, Clint. Geez, some heat coming off that. Whoa, 2 for 2.
Yeah, that's a beauty, bloody beauty. I'm really happy with that. I want to say big thanks to Matt Spratt and Tyreworks Mega. Awesome, couldn't have done it without you guys, and thanks for the opportunity. Bloody good.
Why do I get the impression you want to get back on one of these next season?
That's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Hey, look, I've got to ask you, what the New Zealand Grand Prix coming up. I hope you've been looking at what's been going on, because I'd love you to know who you think's going to win the Grand Prix. Big tussle between Liam Lawson and Igor Fraga and the likes. Who do you like?
Well, I'd like Liam Lawson too, of course.
All right, mate. Hey, thanks for the entertainment today.
Hey, good stuff, man. Appreciate it.
Mike?
Overall, Paul Manuel, second overall. Mate, you sort of got right up to him at the end there, but then it's the championship, right?
Yeah, I had Kerry in my ear, reminding me of that every race today. So, but yeah, hey, Jake did a fantastic job here. It's good to have him out. I could see his tyre going away a little bit, so we thought we'd have a crack at the end, but yeah, probably should have gone a little shallower and cut across, but never mind. It was good race.
Turn 7, mate, on the last lap. That was the best drift I've seen in a V8 Ute for a long time.
It's a bit stupid, actually. I grabbed a handful of bloody fingernails and gears and away we went, but yeah, that's all good.
NZ Grand Prix this afternoon. Who's your pick?
Oh, it's got to be the young fella Liam. We're keen for that fella to have a lot of success, so yeah, good luck to him.
Good on you, mate. Cheers.
Cheers, thanks.
The Coyote comes home and the link up Pegs FG Falcon, mate. You were slowing down at the end. What was going on?
Oh, mate, we had a problem that sort of kicked in at the end of the race this morning, and it started again on the warm-up lap, so it was intermittently running on 7 cylinders. So honestly, you should have seen me. I was pumping the steering wheel and I was riding it home. Seriously riding it home.
Mate, you rode it home to P3. That must have been pretty good. Has it been a satisfying weekend for you?
Oh, we're happy with the result in the end because we haven't had a good car. First race it was bent, second race it was bent, and this race, you know, it's a V7.5 or 6.75 or whatever, but the car is a credit to my guys. They give me a rocket, and when we can show it, we've got pace.
All right, the New Zealand Grand Prix is up next. Who do you like, Igor Fraga, Liam Lawson, or someone else like a Franco Colapinto?
Well, I'm going to have to go with Liam because he's local.
We'll take that. Thanks, mate. Big.